The King Soopers strike is now underway. Thousands of workers walked off the job today. We're hearing from some of them about why they are choosing the picket line.
COVID-19, specifically the Omicron variant, is sending Colorado's positivity rate to new heights. It's also putting a spike in our hospitalization numbers, but health experts explain it's not that simple.
A family lost everything in the Marshall fire, except a couch they didn't even want. They're finding the humor in that situation. 4 o'clock on 9 News starts now.
We are now 11 hours into a 3-week strike. Early this morning, about 9,000 King Soopers workers walked off the job after the contract between the store and the union expired over the weekend. The union says members want higher wages, better benefits, and safety improvements in stores. King Soopers management says their final offer included a $170 million investment over the next 3 years, including an increase in wages and bonuses for workers. However, the two sides have yet to come to an agreement, and many workers want King Soopers to do better. That's why thousands traded work for the picket line.
They showed up at various King Soopers locations with signs, and they spent hours chanting from the parking lots. 9 News reporter Noel Brennan joins us from a King Soopers. This one is in Glendale. Noel.
Yeah, Jenny, there are still a handful of King Soopers workers who are outside the front doors of the store. There are other workers who are posted up on street corners surrounding the shopping center here. But if you are going grocery shopping here today, anyone who comes here will be greeted by a strike.
Who's got the power?
We got the power!
What kind of power?
Union power!
The path to the checkout line crosses the picket line on Wednesday.
Stay here! Don't shop here! Don't shop!
Cashiers, baggers, shelf stockers, and more are on strike.
We deserve better.
At the Glendale King Soopers and 77 other locations in Colorado.
I don't know, I feel like everything's going up. Cost of rent, life, living, like give us a few more chips,
The last, best, final offer from King Soopers was not good enough for the union.
It's been a long time, since 1996.
Or workers who've been through a strike before.
1996, I was at the Mayfair store, Store 5, on 13th and Camaria for 7 weeks.
Marcy Goldis lost her husband.
It's not easy.
And she says she's trying to climb out of debt.
I'm trying to keep a mortgage right now. I just got a home for me and my 11-year-old daughter, and it's not easy. I could be literally living on the streets right now if we do not get what we need.
Marcy wants better pay and benefits, and so do her colleagues.
We're out here striking. We deserve better. We work hard.
They'd rather be working inside than picketing in a parking lot.
I love my job. I love my people, but I deserve better.
Strike! Strike! Strike!
It's not right. It's not right.
In response to the strike, King Soopers cut down the cost of its delivery fee to $1 for purchases over $35 today. That starts today, and they also opened up some alternative pickup sites, Jenny, so folks who want to pick up their groceries don't actually have to come to the actual store.
Sort of a different version of not crossing the picket line, but perhaps still shopping at the store. Interesting. All right, Noel Brennan, thank you for your reporting. Some people will refuse to cross the picket line, which means they will have to find their groceries somewhere else for a while. We will take a look at how this could impact other stores across Denver. Look for that story coming up at 4:30.
We're taking a live look outside, and it is a nice day, a nice Wednesday. Kathy's in the Weather Center with a look at your forecast. Warmed up really quickly this week, and we were freezing a few days ago.
I know, and you both know that when this happens in January, it does not last, right?
No, but you take them when you get them.
Right, and we'll give you one more tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Friday, not a huge storm, but it'll be colder, and there is the chance for snow. Outside we go right now. Beautiful blue skies. We had a fair amount of cloud cover along the Front Range today, but winds out of the west and northwest kept temperatures above average again. We'll be adding to the snowpack starting tomorrow night, but right now temperatures are in the mid-50s, close to 60 degrees in January. Average high is about 44, so that's pretty impressive. The really cold air again from the Midwest through the Great Lakes into the Northeast, and we'll see those winds shift out of the south, so we'll have a very warm forecast for tomorrow, especially across the western U.S. ahead of a Pacific cold front that will start to move into Colorado in about 36 hours time. So the winds that we're tracking this afternoon, northwest to 45, Loveland Pass, Berthoud Pass, pretty blustery up that way, not translating here to the surface, and we have those high and mid-level clouds coming through on that northwest flow, but the best moisture is still upstream and yet to approach Colorado. Advisories for snow and wind north and east of Colorado. How about that winter storm watch out in the Midwest? Yep, the North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota looking for some good snow and wind with this system that will basically stay north of Colorado but come close enough just to make it interesting for us around here on Friday. Few clouds tonight and again tomorrow. Temperatures in the 50s now, dropping 10 degrees by sunset, going into the 30s overnight. Coming up, we're going to talk much more about that Friday storm and look ahead to your weekend.
Thank you, Kathy. We are learning new details about what happened this morning when Arvada police shot and killed a man that they say was armed and led them on a chase in a stolen truck. It happened early this morning near 56th and Wadsworth. Witnesses say that truck stopped and one of the men got outside of it and ran. Arvada police say he had a large knife. Police asked him to drop it. They say he refused and 2 officers fired, ultimately killing that man. Those officers are now on administrative leave, and police have identified the man they shot as Kenneth Hutchison. Police say he was with another man. They're calling that second man a suspect, and they say he got away. If you know anything, they're asking you to contact Arvada police.
The late Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is lying in state today at the U.S. Capitol. The longtime lawmaker died 2 weeks ago after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Democratic leaders led the ceremony to celebrate their former colleague. Senator Schumer spoke about the man he called his friend.
Harry was tough as nails, a fighter to his core, but one of the most compassionate individuals you could ever imagine. In short, he was one of the most incredible and generous individuals I've ever met. The sort of person you come across only a handful of times in your life. When you lose someone as special as Harry, they're never gone. They're always with you.
While the ceremony for another funeral he missed that ceremony, President Biden also visited the Capitol today. He spent a few moments beside Reid's casket to pay his respects to the former Senate leader. The president is back in Washington after his trip to Atlanta, Georgia, where he pushed for voting rights legislation. Senate Democrats are expected to act soon to try and pass voting rights protections, but their slim majority is short of the 60 votes they need to overcome a filibuster. Though he's backed the filibuster rule for decades, the president now says he supports a limited change, and he's urging lawmakers to act.
Here in Colorado, the state legislature opened the 2022 session today. Remember, Democrats have a majority in the House, the Senate, and the governor's office, which means their agenda will be the one that gets done this year. Both sides have a lot of similar priorities, though: public safety, education, cost of living. They just don't agree on how to get there. Democrats could spend a record amount to get their agenda through, whereas Republicans would want more fiscal restraint and more money in Coloradans' pockets. There is proof today from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who released the Consumer Price Index for December.
It shows prices were up 7% over the same time last year. NBC's Stephanie Rule has more on the economic impact.
Well, you didn't need the official numbers to come in to tell you that things have gotten expensive out there, but we do have the data. The Consumer Price Index was reported earlier today, and we've seen prices go up, inflation rise 7% year over year. That's the biggest jump we've seen since 1982, and we're seeing it across the board. New cars, used cars, eggs, meat, housing, and not just new homes, but rentals as well. And while economists say this is all tied to COVID, supply chain issues, labor shortages, we are still in it. And things like housing, for example, that remain high, even with new construction increasing, they're not going to pop up with new homes in the next few months, maybe not even the next year or so. So it's a frustrating time for Americans. And while the unemployment rate is low and wages are up, it doesn't really matter if you have a bigger paycheck if everything costs a lot more. Stephanie Rule, NBC News.